On the heels of his $1.9 trillion stimulus package, President Joe Biden is planning the first major tax hike since 1993. The increase in taxes will help pay for initiatives on infrastructure, climate, and continued assistance to America's poor. Capitol Hill correspondent Eric Rosales reports. Eric.
Well, Tracy, details of the proposal are still being worked on, but sources tell EWTN News Nightly that it does include an increase to corporate taxes by some 7%. Republicans say that it's too fast and will create inflation and will destroy American businesses by the year 2022. It's a spending initiative which is expected to be greater than the latest COVID relief bill, costing as much as $4 trillion.
This is entirely predictable that the Biden administration would come at us with a tax increase. But we're not out of this pandemic-related, downturn right now. The last thing you do when you're in a recession is raise taxes.
President Joe Biden's new tax plan will not just rely on government debt as a funding source, but could include an increase in both corporate and individual tax rates. The plan changes include raising the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, raising the income tax rate on individuals earning more than $400,000, expanding the estate tax, and creating a higher capital gains tax rate. Any tax increases included in the legislation would likely take effect beginning in 2022.
Back in 2017, when we took our corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, that put us at the middle of the pack. That made us more competitive as a nation. And suddenly we saw a tremendous increase in economic activity here in America.
And he's not alone. Financial experts say these proposals could undo the progress we saw several years ago with tax cuts.
We know from past experience that when you incentivize investment, that increases productivity of all workers, and workers, whether they're poor, middle class, or wealthy, all share in that boost in productivity.
Experts say our tax revenue is already at an all-time high, and what we have is a spending problem.
We are burdening future generations. We are printing trillions of dollars. We're borrowing and we're spending. We're already seeing an increase of inflation, and those threats are going to be elevated going forward.
An analysis of the tax plan by the Tax Policy Center found that it would generate some $2.1 trillion in new revenue over a decade. But Republicans say at what cost and how many American businesses would go under. At the Capitol, Eric Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.